hello there. I'm going to go on a dungeon adventure using Advanced Heroquest, a game I've had for quite a long time. Look, includes rules for solo play. Excellent. We've got all the dungeon tiles and counters and things. And I do have the Skaven models it came with originally, but I don't want to use Skaven, they're boring. I'm going to use the Heroquest miniatures. Yes, I do have Heroquest as well. I remember the Christmas of 1989. Very exciting times. A lot of these miniatures aren't painted yet, but we'll see how we go. I won't be using any of the expanded rules that one can find on the internet. I do have, well, I've printed out a copy of Terror in the Dark, the expansion pack. It looks like at some point in the past, many years ago, I created my own treasure tables, so there's a bunch of new magic items here, should I find any. That'll be fun to roll on. Whoa, I really went for it. Look at this, enchanted rope. What does that do? Alright, the first thing we'll need is a couple of heroes. I'm going to make 2 heroes, which might make things a little challenging considering some of the groups of monsters we might come across. But I can always hire some henchmen, right? So we've got a bunch of random tables to roll on here. This might be the only time we'll see D8s, D4s and D6s, because everything else is D12 based. Alright, nothing fancy for the character sheets. Let's get started. Our first hero is going to be a human. Okay. Here we go, here's the stats, rolled at random. Absolutely pitiful strength and weapon skill. So I was praying and hoping for high intelligence, and thankfully I rolled fairly high. So our human is going to be a wizard. Alright, we have Umaz, the human wizard. We'll use the Heroquest wizard model. He started with 80 gold coins, so I've given him a dagger and some equipment. I need to find a better eraser, because that looks a bit messy. We've got 55 gold coins left. I will buy 2 spell components. And speaking of spells, we need to pick a College of Magic. Alright, we have 4 colleges. Bright, from the original rulebook. Jade, Amethyst, and Light. Light and Bright. So I'm going to roll a d4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what we get. 4. So Umaz is a light wizard. This gives Umaz 4 starting spells: Power of Life, Strength of Life, Cloak of Protection, Blinding Light. They all require spell components. Blinding Light requires 2 different spell components, so I think, well, we can afford 2 spell components, but I think we'll buy a Silver Hand and, what's this, Cloth of Gold. Okay, hero number 2 is a dwarf, and look, some of these stats are pretty good. Weapon skill 10, and pretty speedy for a dwarf, but oh dear, look at this, bravery 4. That means we're in trouble if we come across fearsome monsters like undead and demons. We'll see how we go. I'm not quite sure where my Heroquest or Advanced Heroquest dwarf models are, but I do have these very old Games Workshop dwarf miniatures, so I'll pick one of these and paint them up. This guy should have a shield somewhere. Let's get him some equipment. Alright, sadly our dwarf Mudpike started with the minimum amount of gold, so we're giving him a sword, a shield and leather armour, and 5 gold pieces to spare. Right, I need to paint him now before we start. Right, there we go, I don't know, something like that. Okay, I'll have to do. I'm rubbish at painting. The last thing to do is to adjust Mudpike's stats, because when you wear armour there is a trade-off. Bow skill goes down, toughness goes up, and speed goes down a little bit. So here we find Umaz and Mudpike at the dungeon entrance. It's going to be a classic dungeon adventure, I think, with monsters and traps and treasure. We do need a quest, though, I think. Now, normally there would be a game master who runs a story, but we're playing it solo. And in the solo rules, it basically suggests you just make up your own quest. It suggests here that we find some character monsters in the quest rooms. We start with 2 fate points per hero. Basically, anytime we think we're going to die or take a lot of wounds, we can expend a fate point to save our skins. Now, we can take a number of expeditions to try and complete the quest, returning to town between each expedition. But as you can see here, the fewer the number of expeditions, the more fate points we will gain when we complete the quest. Right, let's start our first exploration turn. What can we do during exploration? We can move up to 12 squares. We can search for hidden treasure, except you're not allowed to in a solo game. Or you can search for a secret door in a dead-end passageway or a room with no other doors. Right, so Mudpike, you can bravely lead the way. 12 squares, so each of these passages is 5 squares. So that gets us here. Let's see what's around these corners. This involves a whole bunch of D12 rolls. Alright, we have a long passageway ending in a dead end. Potentially a secret door over there? Don't know yet. And then a T-junction this way. So Umaz, you just need to keep up. In a solo game, at the end of the exploration phase, we roll a d12, and on a 1 there's a trap, and on a 12 there's a wandering monster. Trap! Right, who's the numbskull that triggered it? 1 to 6, 7 to 12. It was Mudpike. Then we roll on this trap table here. 2, that would be Crossfire. So a bunch of crossbow bolts fire out of the wall. We need to see how many hit Mudpike. Roll 3 damage dice for each bolt that does hit. Oh, 3 bolts. So for each of those bolts we roll another 3 dice and compare them to toughness. So any rolls of 10 or greater is a wound. So the first bolt, that's 1 wound. Second bolt, ooh, looks like I blocked that bolt with my shield. And the third bolt, now I rolled a 12, that's critical damage, that scores a wound, and we roll it again. Oh no, and again. Alright, so that's 3 wounds in total, right? Mudpike's going to use one of his 2 fate points, so when you use a fate point you can nullify all damage you've taken in a round. So he takes no wounds and loses 1 fate point. Well, that was a lucky escape. Mudpike, try not to do that again. Let's adventure on. We'll have Umaz move to this T-junction. So Umaz sees 2 long corridors. This one runs off the edge of the table, so we'll call that a no-go zone. This one ends in a dead end. We have 1 door to investigate. Alright, Mudpike, you can move your 12 squares, which brings you about here, I think. And all is quiet. Our heroes are in position, and Mudpike will kick the door down. Alright, we have found a room, and I'm going to use the Terror in the Dark method of generating the room type, which stops the quest room being behind the very first door. So we have a hazard room. Well, our hazard is actually a wandering monster, and we have a Chaos Warrior relaxing by the fireside. In solo play, first of all, we place the enemy as close to the heroes as possible, and then we make a surprise roll. So yellow for the heroes, blue for the Chaos Warrior. The heroes win the surprise roll, so we can move the enemies all 1 space. I'm gonna put you back there, and the heroes get the first turn in combat. Alright, Mudpike draws his sword, steps through into what is known as the enemy's death zone, so he has to stop moving there. And yeah, let's take a swing at the Chaos Warrior. So we roll a die to hit. What do we need to hit? Well, we compare weapon skills. So if weapon skills are equal, I would need a 7 or better to hit. But as it is, the Chaos Warrior has weapon skill 8. I have weapon skill 10, so I would need a 5 or better to hit. Here we go. Yes, a strike. Mudpike is fairly strong, so he rolls 4 damage dice with his sword. What do we need to get? Chaos Warriors have plate armor, which gives them toughness 9. Oh, that's bad. The sword did not penetrate the armor, so we'll move on to Umaz, who doesn't have any ranged attack capabilities, so he will hang at the back, maybe getting ready to move in next turn, and he does have his healing spell at the ready. In the GM phase, we roll on a table to see what the enemy's behaviour is like, and maybe some reinforcements might come along. That would be bad news. Reinforcements. Right, lumbering in from the very edge of the board is a mummy, one of the harder monsters to deal with. I could be out of my depth here. There is one thing in my favour. The fireplace contains burning logs, and it is possible to grab up a burning log and use it against a mummy. If you hit it, the fire causes its ancient bandages to burst into flame, destroying the mummy. Okay, the Chaos Warrior moves then attacks, so we'll put it around that side, and it swings its axe at Mudpike. It needs a 9 to hit. Dodged. The mummy has a speed of 6, that will put it here. Right, back to the heroes. I need Umaz to come in and grab that burning log, so we'll have Mudpike move around this side of the Chaos Warrior, swing with his sword. It's a hit. Let's see if you can actually get past the armour this time. Just a single wound. Alright, Umaz moves in. He can move past the Chaos Warrior since the warrior is focused on Mudpike, so we'll step up to the fireplace and use an action to grab a burning log. Enemies are attacking them moving this turn, so the Chaos Warrior swings his axe at Mudpike. It needed a 9 to hit, so that is a miss. And then it will move here. And then the mummy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is at the doorway. Alright, Umaz will move to block the mummy's way. Now, why am I having Umaz doing this attacking with a burning log thing? It's because, if you remember, Mudpike has a bravery of 4, and he will just freeze in terror once the mummy is next to him. Right, we won't swing that log just yet. We're going to have Umaz cast Cloak of Protection. So he uses up the Cloth of Gold, and he will now have +2 to his toughness against attacks from undead creatures. Alright, fighting back to back. Mudpike will swing his sword at the Chaos Warrior. Striking. Come on, stick that sword in there. We're looking for 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s. There is 1 wound, and it's critical damage, so we can roll it again. Just 1 wound. Well, in the GM phase, I rolled another 1, so that's more reinforcements. 1 for Mia, so it needs to be in line of sight. So yeah, I guess it's got to go there. Right, moves and attacks. So I'll have the Chaos Warrior come around this side of Mudpike. The Thamir moves here. The Chaos Warrior swings at Mudpike. That is a hit, and the axe is going to deal 4 damage dice. Oh no. Oh, what is this? 3 wounds and critical damage. Right, that is 3 wounds. Rather than dropping down to 1 wound, I'm going to use a fate point now to just negate that damage. So we get in a lucky dodge. The mummy swings at Umaz, needing only a 5 to hit with its claws. Ooh. Got lucky. That's a miss. Okay, next round. Mudpike, keep at it with your sword against the Chaos Warrior. Another 10, that's 3 10s you've had to hit in a row. I'm not complaining. Alright, how about the damage? 1 critical damage. Can we get in an extra wound? No. Chaos Warrior is now on 3 wounds. The next bit of damage will kill it. Okay, Umaz, first of all, you need to make a bravery test for this fierce monster before you. Your bravery is 7, so that means you need to roll a 7 or less. That'll do nicely. Now the tricky bit, I need to hit it with this burning log. Weapon skill is only 5. Mummy's weapon skill is 7, so I will need to score a 9 or better. Aha! Right, so I don't need to roll for damage. Any hit with a burning log against a mummy will destroy it, so it is set to blaze and crumbles to ashes. Right, back to the monsters. What do they do this turn? Please, no more reinforcements. Alright, that's fine. That is attack then move. This means the Thamir just moves, right? So it steps up to the doorway, doesn't attack. Maybe it's confused about what is happening here. And then the Chaos Warrior will swing his axe at Mudpike. You'll need a 9. Ah, that's a fumble! A 1 is a fumble. So Mudpike gets a free attack. Come on, stick him. That's a hit. Damage with your sword is sufficient. That's 1 wound. The Chaos Warrior is slain. Things are looking up. I thought I was going to die, but maybe not. Right, Umaz, I think we'll have you... You can drop the burning log now, that's fine. You can draw your dagger, have 1 stab at the Thamir, and then step away. Thamirs aren't particularly skilled, but they do get 2 attacks. Right, so Umaz, you will need an 8 to hit. Nope. And then you can step well away. Alright, Mudpike. No time to rest, you need to deal with this creature. Because of your skill, Mudpike, you only need a 3 to hit. Thamirs only wear leather armor, so toughness is 7. And Mudpike's sword deals 0 damage. Good grief. Alright, move and attack for the Thamir through the doorway. 2 attacks, but it will need 10s to hit. What? Are you joking? This could be the end of Mudpike. He has no fate points left. Alright, so the axe deals 3 damage dice. Toughness is 10. Phew, okay. Mudpike's armor blocks that. And then the Thamir's punch deals 2 damage dice. Or tail attack, I suppose. Yeah, it'd be a tail, won't it? Look at this, we've got 1 penetration. That's 1 wound for Mudpike. Back to the heroes. I think Mudpike will strike and then move back into the room, and then that will allow Umaz to at least get some dagger strikes in. So let's swing with the sword first. It's a hit. And the damage, we're looking for 7s or better. That's 2 damage and a critical. 3 damage. Now, Thamirs have 4 wounds, so we didn't quite kill it. And then you can step back here. In fact, all the way into the corner. Umaz is going to tank this one. Actually, Umaz, you've got that healing spell, but you need to be next to Mudpike to use it, so let's step there. Power of life! So Umaz expends the silver hand, pumps Mudpike full of positive energy, and restores him back up to full wounds. Right, the Thamir moves and attacks, and we'll head for Umaz. Right, he swings his axe, 6 to hit, misses, and swings his tail, and fumbles. Umaz gets in a sneaky dagger strike. But misses. Alright, next round, let's finish this beast off. Mudpike, move there, swing your sword. That will do. 4 damage dice. Well, that 12 crit will do it. The Thamir is slain. Alright, we can breathe a sigh of relief. Good work, you two. I think we were quite lucky that we had this fireplace here to deal with the mummy. Otherwise, I think we would have been screwed. However, for now, we can search the corpse and see what treasure they were carrying. The mummy had 100 gold pieces, Chaos Warrior had 60 gold pieces, and the Thamir had 25. So let's divide that between us. Let's use these Shadows of Brimstone counters to keep track of gold. So Mudpike now has 100. We've got 95 for Umaz. I think that'll do for the first session. We need to decide if we're maybe going to leave now, spend some of that gold back in town, or adventure a little further A little bit risky with Mudpike having no fate points left. Yeah, well, I'll make the decision next time. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. See you later.